I am a physician and biochemist. I'm a fellow of the American Society for Clinical Pathology. I'm a fellow of the American College of Nutrition. I'm a fellow of the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, a fellow of the Organization of Clinical Immunology Societies, a fellow of the American Medical Laboratory Immunologists, and I'm an overseas fellow of the Royal Society of Medicine. I am also, as you know, as I mentioned, a fellow of the Health Studies Collegium and director and founder of both PERQUE Integrative Health and ELISA ACT Biotechnologies. And it is my pleasure and privilege to bring this information to you. As you can tell from the breadth and depth of the societies in which I maintain fellow status, I have fairly broad and deep interests, or as my mom used to say, I'm easily bored. Now, PERQUE Integrative Health brings you the WellGuard program. It's a proprietary program that brings together the alkaline way clinical tools that evoke human healing responses, tools that bring the good stuff in effectively and more safely, and get the bad stuff out more quickly, more safely, and with less discomfort. The metaphors that we use are about peace and gardens, not about war and fighting. We don't fight diseases. We don't have a war on diseases. We do, however, seek internal resilience and tolerance and peace. We do think of life as a complex garden into which we have some influence. And as you'll be learning in just a few moments, 92% of us is the product of what we eat and drink, think, and do. So peace and gardens, the alkaline way tools to evoke human healing responses, all embedded in the PERQUE Integrative Health WellGuard program. What are some of the details and goals? Well, first, PERQUE Integrative Health brings you healing through the alkaline way. We become what we eat and drink, think, and do. At least 92% of our health is the product of those four elements. The choices and habits, the learned behaviors about eating and drinking, thinking and doing, determine at least 92% of our heart and vascular health, of our cancer risk, of our digestive health, according to the National Institutes of Health, the National Cancer Institute, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, etc. And PERQUE Integrative Health works companionably with a diagnostic and therapeutic monitoring sister company, LRA by ELISA ACT, for delayed allergy tests, true cell cultures to measure all of the delayed allergy pathways in order to identify for each individual their immune burden and immune strengths, and most importantly, perhaps a clinical plan, the WellGuard practice program, to help restore internal resilience, tolerance, and homeostasis. So as you see on the left of the slide, the goal of the PERQUE WellGuard practice program is to restore immune tolerance, neurohormonal balance, and digestive detoxification competences. Part one of the PERQUE WellGuard program, I'd like to headline or give you the overview on this slide, and then we'll get into the particulars. So the first part of the PERQUE WellGuard program is to determine the client's status via a health appraisal questionnaire, what we affectionately call an HAQ. The health appraisal or assessment questionnaire, the health assessment questionnaire, is a validated two-sided single page that has questions across many different organ systems, has internal validation questions, has a history of over 50,000 uses through the request of clinicians who want deeper understandings of the LRA by ELISA ACT result. So you can start with a health appraisal, health assessment questionnaire. This can be done online, it can be done paper and pencil and then submitted, and it can bring back a personalized PERQUE supplementation program. So the questionnaire, health assessment questionnaire, can give you the second part, which is the personal PERQUE supplement program. The third element of part one is to alkalinize diets and save lives. There's no question that all bipeds, all primates, all of us who are alive, certainly all people, produce in their cells more acid and will become metabolically acidotic if they don't take in enough minerals to balance out the stresses, the challenges of their lifestyle and diet. So an alkaline diet, one rich in minerals and other alkaline elements, is essential for health. It saves lives abundantly. And yet metabolic acidosis is all too common because people often eat diets that are too rich in fats, proteins, and what we call the yummy things for eating just generically. And too few of the fruits and vegetables, too few of the alkaline-rich foods that are mineral and nutrient-rich that should be the staples of our diet, not condiments. And we've kind of reversed things in Western industrial society. We eat too much of the things that should be condiments, and we eat too little of the things that should be staples. And we have this all in an alkaline diet or an alkalinized diet program as part of PERQUE WellGuard. And then the fourth, if desired, are the LRA by ELISAC tests to find hidden allergens. And since what you eat needs to be digested, assimilated, and eliminated, we suggest that you eat what you can digest, what you can assimilate, and what you can eliminate within healthy homeostasis, which means and includes immune tolerance, digestive competence, neurohormonal balance. So eat what you can digest, assimilate, and eliminate within healthy resilience, healthy homeostasis, immune, neurohormonal, digestive detoxification competence. For more information about this and other webinars, please see our website, www.perque.com/default.asp. And now the next part of this webinar is to look at the PERQUE Foundation products that have essential, meaning you can't make them, you got to take them in and you need them, essential and available nutrients. Now, PERQUE has pioneered fully available and full disclosure products. What that means is that what's on the label gets into the person because it's transported and chaperoned and protected, and the more bioavailable, purer forms are used, and all of that. So the essential nutrients are actually available, and those nutrients get into you with the PERQUE Foundation products. And you see from left to right the PERQUE Foundation family, PERQUE WayGuard Repair Meals and other WayGuard meal powders, PERQUE LifeGuard and the whole family of PERQUE LifeGuard Super Multi-vitamins, PERQUE EPA DHA Guard, PERQUE Detoxin Guard, PERQUE Potent C Guard, and PERQUE LivaGuard as part of the PERQUE Detox Kit, but as part of the PERQUE family of PERQUE Foundation products for the WellGuard program. We mentioned the PERQUE Potent C, but you can never mention vitamin C too much, and then choline citrate that helps get the Magnesium Plus Guard in, and the PERQUE Mag Plus Guard that works with the choline citrate to alkalinize, energize, to improve neurotransmitters, as well as detoxification using acetylcholine bile salts and acids that get into the bile and out of the body rather than build up as sludge and schmutz inside the body. So you have here the PERQUE Foundation products as part of the PERQUE WellGuard program, PERQUE WayGuard Meals, PERQUE LifeGuard family of super multis, the PERQUE EPA DHA Guard to change the oil of Americans, the PERQUE Detoxin Guard for phase 1, 2, and 3 detoxification. You need phase 1 and phase 2 and transport enhanced biliary phase 3 detoxification. PERQUE Detoxin Guard pioneered the combination of phase 1, 2, and 3 detoxifiers, and to this day is still the leader in that category of detox products. The PERQUE Potent C Guard and the PERQUE LivaGuard with multiple liver protecting herbs and nutrients to help deal with the stresses of pseudohormones and hormone disruptors and the like. Then antioxidants sufficient based on the PERQUE C Cleanse, and then the combination of PERQUE Mag Plus Guard and PERQUE choline citrate to alkalinize, energize, and keep you in metabolic balance. These are the PERQUE Foundation products, the PERQUE Integrative Health Plus. Now let's look in more detail at the PERQUE WellGuard program and the fundamental products, FP for fundamental products. And let's start with the PERQUE LifeGuard multifamily. You have the PERQUE LifeGuard DS for double strength. Then you have the PERQUE LifeGuard Mini, a half-strength formula, half the size, a really elegant relaunch of PERQUE LifeGuard for those who wanted a smaller tabsule to consume. Then there's PERQUE LifeGuard PERQUEs, the chewable lozenge. We will soon be releasing PERQUE LifeGuard gummies for those who prefer the gummy form of delivery. And of course, there's PERQUE LifeGuard PABA folate-free for high histamine individuals. So there are 5 members of the PERQUE LifeGuard multifamily: the double strength DS, PERQUE LifeGuard DS, known by some of you as PERQUE 2. And then there's PERQUE LifeGuard Mini, half size, half strength, the PERQUE LifeGuard PERQUEs, the lozenge that's chewable, PERQUE LifeGuard gummies coming soon, and the PERQUE PABA folate-free for high histamine individuals. You see on the lower right the product information sheet, and on the bottom of that a graph that's a little hard to see, but let's bring that graph up. Let's see it a bit larger. So let's look at a comparison, a product comparison of an analysis based on the total active amount of nutrients in each formula. So we're going to look at how many there are, how many capsules, tablets, tabsules it takes to get there, and what the relative total nutrient content of each competitor is. And in this comparison, we see that competitor A has 23 nutrients in 5 capsules, and those 5 capsules deliver about 53% of what you get in 2 LifeGuard tabsules. The next, competitor D, has 29 nutrients in 6 tablets, and that gives you about 23% of what you get in 2 LifeGuard tabsules. The next competitor, M, has 34 nutrients, a little better, in 6 tablets, and gives you about 30+% of what's in 2 LifeGuard tabsules. There's a trend here. And then competitor T, with 25 nutrients and 6 capsules, gives us about 30% of the value of just two PERQUE LifeGuard tabsules. So having twice as much actives, because most of the professional products and all of the commercial products have at least half or more of the product inert, binders, fillers, excipients, flowing agents, coatings, artificial, this and that, none of which is needed, none of which is present in any of the PERQUE products, and certainly not PERQUE LifeGuard. Now, the PERQUE LifeGuard DS, or the PERQUE 2 LifeGuard, has 40 nutrients in 2 tabsules and gives you 100% bioavailability, full availability in a study that we'll talk about. Now, the next is a new generation of more active multis with transport and cofactor enhancement. How come the PERQUE is more active? Well, first of all, it has at least twice as much space because it has nothing inert or undisclosed. Second, it includes what nature does in whole foods, the transporter and the cofactor or chaperone to protect the nutrient. This improves uptake and bioavailability or functionality. And most people do not consume the needed amounts of all the essential nutrients by diet alone, so supplements today are more and more essential. They're more and more required to get the essential nutrients in. But what about that study? There's a study, and this study was published in JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association. It's so-called Iowa Women Study, and it says that the ad-lib use of multivitamins does not reduce all-cause mortality in women. In fact, to the contrary, it may slightly increase it. Well, that's concern. That's a reason for concern. But the study did not report on specific doses, excluding calcium and iron, and probably, from everything I have been able to learn, used any generic multivitamin as their standard. And by comparison, you could take an entire bottle of Theragram Advanced or One-A-Day Men's or any Centrum Silver, any of the newer, more advanced formulas that are available in mass merchandisers. Take a bottle of 100 tablets. Take the entire bottle and pour it into a big glass. You would have less nutrients in that glass than 2 Lifeguard capsules. Do the math. We have 2 Lifeguard capsules gives you more nutrients than the entire bottle of Centrum, Theragram, or One A Day. Next problem with the Iowa Women's Study is the supplement sources were not disclosed. They may have been impure. They may have been food grade in most cases, which I describe euphemistically or by metaphor as floor sweepings. Food grade is a very low bar, very easy standard to maintain. We never use food grade. We don't use USP grade. We get above that. We use reagent grade, or we use pharmaceutical quality, or we use the highest available, the ones shown in clinical studies to be beneficial, and we use all nutrients in meaningful amounts, which is why we get results. So by not specifying the source of the supplements, they may have mixed up some good and some bad. They also didn't include the form of the nutrients. For example, for vitamin E, the synthetic D-alpha tocopherol succinate, the most common supplement form, is nowhere near as beneficial as all 8 natural vitamins E. We'll talk more about that later, but the synthetics may not be fully as functional, as active as the natural. And then finally, it conflicts with prior research, including original evidence from PERQUE and many others, that to my surprise were not discussed in the JAMA article. So I think there's good reason to exempt PERQUE from those concerns. I think there's good reason for concern about many other generic products, many other commodity commercial products, the kind of products you find in many professional offices. You find them in health food stores and in supermarkets. They are legal, but they are not in the same class with the super premium quality of PERQUE, PERQUE Integrative Health, and the WellGuard program. The next point I'd like to make is that PERQUE Lifeguard is actually 5 products in one. It includes 14 vitamins, the entire B complex, balanced Bs plus some more. It includes full ionized mineral complex, all 10, and we'll talk more about the importance of the forms of minerals that PERQUE Lifeguard uses. Then heart-healthy vitamins E, including the tocotrienols with selenomethionine, because you can have all the vitamin E and all the tocotrienols in the world, but without selenomethionine, it doesn't protect the membranes of the body, the heart, the mitochondria, the different parts of the body. The next point is that PERQUE Lifeguard is an alkalinizing formula to neutralize excess cell acids, and it includes 5 components that do that. And it's energizing to raise cell ATP level. It includes all 4 Krebs salts, something we pioneered and a few have followed. And it has a scored design and a new fresh aroma that we'd like to encourage you to try, and is also available now in the PERQUE Lifeguard mini capsule option. It is a true all-in-one formula with 40 active nutrients in meaningful amounts, no pro-oxidants to compete with and degrade the antioxidants in production and storage, and, as with all PERQUE products, a full disclosure product, so that everything that's in there is on the label, and if you want to know what the product weighs, and we generally do the math for you, you just add up the ingredients and that's what the product weighs. So PERQUE Lifeguard is a 5-in-1 formula. Super Bs plus other vitamins, ionized mineral all 10, heart-healthy vitamins E, tocotrienols, and selenomethionine, alkalinizing to neutralize excess cell acids, and finally energizing, the 5th component, to raise cell ATP energy, to restore cells to thrival mode or elective protective mode, and get cells out of survival mode where they don't produce the elective protective elements. Now, what else would I like to discuss? Well, when we developed the PERQUE Lifeguard formula, we did some groundbreaking research, and we have proof of 100% bioavailability, proven in a double-blind placebo-controlled trial, a DBPCT double-blind placebo-controlled trial, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 1992 by a colleague, Patty Doister, and her colleagues. And I'm privileged to say we continue our professional and personal collaborations. But PERQUE is the last and the most successful double-blind placebo-controlled trial of a multivitamin ever done. And this was done 5 years after we introduced LifeGuard, but I'm proud to say that LifeGuard remains the gold standard for super premium multi products. Now I'd like to show you some of the details of what I mean that was shown in that bioavailability study. Here are some graphs, and I'm going to take two of them in detail and then come back to the family of them. So let's look at vitamin B6. With regard to vitamin B6, both groups had about the same value before. They were matched, the control and experimental. The control got a placebo, and their values that you see in the dotted lines and circles remained the same throughout the 4 time points, before, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and after the study. And when the people who took the active, not placebo form, they almost tripled their B6 levels and maintained them for a full 12 weeks. The importance here is sometimes you see a short-term increase in a blood level, but it doesn't maintain more than 10 or 8 or 6 weeks. And we wanted to see long-term changes. And what we found was an increase that maintained at the same level or even went up a bit over time. And when you did all the complicated math, 100% of what was on the bottle was functionally available to account for this increase, more than trebling the levels of B6 after 6 weeks, even higher after 12 weeks. When you then stopped and came back after another 6 weeks and did the post-clinical study, both groups were at the same level. So there was no genetic change that occurred. This is an epigenetic improvement that was observed at 6 weeks and maintained for a full 12 weeks in this double-blind, placebo-controlled PERQUE LifeGuard study. Let's take B12. Same basic message. Initially, what we found after 6 weeks was a substantial increase in the B12 level that maintained after 12 weeks. And in the post-clinical study, there was no significant difference between the placebo and experimental groups. There were differences, but not statistically significant. And what you see are a standard deviation off the mean. On one side, the error bar is done that way just for ease of visual seeing. Now let's look at all the graphs, because they all say the same thing. The groups were the same at the beginning. After 6 weeks, things went up and stayed up for another 6 weeks, and afterwards came back to the pre-level more or less. And when you did all the math on all of these different nutrients, from thiamine to riboflavin to B6, from the lower line B12, pantothenate, and biotin, we found consistent, substantial, and significant increases that maintained at 6 and 12 weeks, but not after discontinuing the supplement. I can tell you anecdotally that the young medical students who were the subjects for this study, many of them continued to take the product. After the study was over, after the washout period was done, they came back to the scientist and said, we want this because it helped us study, sleep better, get restorative sleep, have more stable moods, and handle the stresses of med school. And the scientist said, well, sure, but you're going to have to buy it now. It's not going to be given to you free. And they said, oh, yeah, we'll buy it. And many of them have continued to take PERQUE LifeGuard over the many years. So PERQUE LifeGuard is the gold standard for super premium multivitamins. It includes supplement basics because food is less nutritious than it used to be, fully functional, and complements or makes up for dietary choices that are often less whole than ideal. It's biologically active. It deals with the stress and toxins of modern times. It's not a formula from 50 years ago. It is the most advanced and comprehensive formula, the gold standard, if you will. It's a full disclosure product, as are all PERQUE supplements. It provides prudent protection, safer and meaningful forms of all active components to promote health, and it's available only through health practitioners, as are all PERQUE products. Now let's look together for a moment at more of the details. PERQUE Lifeguard has 40 energized nutrients, and in 2 capsules, in just 2 capsules, you see vitamin A and vitamin B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, then folate, PABA, para-aminobenzoic acid, biotin, pure crystalline form, ascorbate, the fully reduced 100% L fully buffered form, fully reduced and buffered form, vitamin D, the calciferol form, cholecalciferol in the body, vitamins E from mixed natural tocopherols and all of the natural forms present, vitamin K1 and K2 now, phyloquinone and menadione, zinc is picolinate, now the minerals, we start with the bulk minerals. There are a total of 10, but the 3 macro minerals are potassium, calcium, and magnesium that people need. And then there are also an additional 7 more micro minerals: zinc, boron, chromium, manganese, molybdenum, selenium, and vanadium. Notice that iron and copper and iodine are not present because they're pro-oxidants and should be taken separate from antioxidants. And then finally, we have 13 active cofactors, including quercetin dihydrate, L-aspartic acid as the magnesium aspartate, trimethylglycine as betaine hydrochloride, the octacosanol, triacontanol, hexacosanol, tetracosanol, all the polycosanols, the whole family, but then also the Krebs energy salts that alkalinize and energize: citrate, fumarate, malate, and succinate. Some vegetable fiber, because fiber binds toxin, but we use the organic cross-carmelose, the beneficial form. And in the coating, there is some vanilla extract to act as a freshness or antioxidant element. So PERQUE Lifeguard sets a new standard, what is needed for 21st century survival, detoxification, and healthy living. PERQUE Lifeguard has the most active vitamin forms, but it is free. It is free of yeast, gluten, corn, and soy. It has no need of and doesn't include any yeast, any gluten, any corn, any soy. It's 100% bioavailability proven in a double-blind placebo-controlled trial, the one we described briefly. It uses only the natural forms for all the balanced Bs. It uses hydroxycobalamin and the natural folates. It uses PABA and biotin. And in 25 years of successes, we're now glad to add to that family the new PERQUE Lifeguard Mini capsule, half dose and half size, for those who prefer smaller, where small is beautiful. Now, PERQUE Lifeguard does use better minerals, and the mineral issue is really complicated, and I'm going to try and keep it sweet but also clear. Colloidal minerals do not pass through cell walls or other membranes and are very low bioavailability but very inexpensive. Chelated minerals come in different flavors. Most of them are soy-derived, allergenic, contain pseudoestrogens, high in glutamate, as is soy, and I don't recommend the so-called soy chelated ones. But the term chelated can have many different meanings, and one particular company, a very distinguished provider of many kinds of minerals, now has different chelates. It has soy chelates, if you want that, but it also has amino acid chelates, which we prefer. The fully ionized mineral forms are the glycinate, aspartate, ascorbate, citrate, fumarate, succinate, malate, the ones used in PERQUE products, so that they can be adequately absorbed and used by the cells, and the minerals can get in and buffer the acids to neutralize the excess acids and bring us back into healthy alkaline state. So, PERQUE Lifeguard contains fully ionized mineral complex, all 10 in meaningful amounts. You need more of the minerals today than ever. I mean that both personally and in general. And PERQUE Lifeguard and the other PERQUE products that contain minerals and are alkalinizing therefore, the PERQUE Detoxin Guard, the PERQUE Bone Guard, the PERQUE Mag Plus Guard, and PERQUE Choline Citrate. PERQUE puts minerals and buffering agents and alkalinizing elements into many, many products because this issue is so important. Now, in addition, PERQUE Lifeguard is heart healthy and has as much heart protection or more than most products costing as much as PERQUE Lifeguard just for the vitamins E. But PERQUE Lifeguard uses the heart healthy mixed all 8 forms, the natural tocopherols and tocotrienols, the natural vitamins E, selenomethionine that activates the E safely and effectively. And these vitamins E show that PERQ uses only the alpha, beta, gamma, and delta mixed forms of the natural tocopherols and tocotrienols. PERQ Lifeguard is alkalinizing and PERQ Lifeguard is energizing. Here you see a diagram of what we biochemists call the Krebs cycle, and I had the privilege of working with Sir Hans Krebs towards the end of his career and the beginning of mine. This was when I was doing cell heat studies called microcalorimetry. And PERQ Lifeguard alkalinizes and energizes, which means it raises the cell ATP levels. ATP is the work molecule for the cell and the body, and it does this via the Krebs salts that do both energize and alkalinize. Citrate, fumarate, malate, and succinate. Which one do you need? All of them. The reason we give them in balance is because they're more easily used by the body when all are present and in their purer forms and in balance. And so PERQ Lifeguard is alkalinizing and energizing. Next question that I would ask if I were you is, how much do I need? And the daily dose is 1 to 6 tabsules, but really, and here's the clinical pearl and secret, your urine should be sunshine yellow. If your urine is glass clear, you don't have enough B vitamins. If your urine is dark brown and muddy, you need more water. It should not be concentrated, signifying dehydration, but should be well hydrated and sunshine yellow. Not muddy brown, sunshine yellow. And I recommend, and I do myself take, and my family takes, the amount of PERQ Lifeguard necessary to keep our urine sunshine yellow. And we may vary that day to day, but we want each of the times that we urinate to see sunshine yellow coming out. Now, the PERQ Lifeguard family includes the double strength and mini tabsules that I've talked about, but it also includes the pabafolate-free or pabafolacin-free for high histamine types, and it includes the PERQUE's chewables, a chewable lozenge for adults and children, and we will soon be introducing a PERQ gummies formula to round out that PERQ Lifeguard family of super premium multi-multis. So the PERQ Lifeguard family includes PERQ Lifeguard DS, PERQ Lifeguard Mini, PERQ Lifeguard PERQUE's chewables, and by comparison, 8 PERQ Lifeguard PERQUE's chewables equals 1 PERQ Lifeguard tabsule. So 8 of the PERQ Lifeguard chewables equals 1 of the PERQ Lifeguard tabsules. That's how much there is in a PERQ Lifeguard DS tabsule. And for children, 1 PERQ Lifeguard chewable per 25 pounds is what we recommend. Below 25 pounds, if they can suck on a lozenge, give them 1. Between 25 and 50, 2 a day. 50 to 75 pounds, 3 a day. And you would optimize nutrient needs for essentially all children. And they will notice that their urine, too, will be sunshine yellow. Now, PERQ Integrative Health uses above professional grade nutritionals with scientifically proven all-active unique delivery systems, tabsules, micellized soft gels, enhanced mucosal uptake products, meal powders, and soon other novel delivery systems. PERQ Integrative Health represents a rethinking of every category and every product for safer, more effective results in original science and with original evidence to support the superiority of PERQ Integrative Health and its systems and products. PERQ Integrative Health uses technology, novel formulation, third-party post-production testing, outcome studies for original evidence, and clinical experience, all available at your service, all available through client services and representative specialists for PERQ Integrative Health. The PERQ Integrative Health WellGuard program has a goal. The goal of the PERQ WellGuard program is to restore immune tolerance, to restore neurohormonal balance, to restore digestive and detoxification competences. PERQ Integrative Health applies healing, evokes the human healing response through the alkaline way, and uses LRA by ELISA tests to find hidden or mystery delayed allergens when and as needed so that we can restore competences in systems that have been imbalanced to the point where they can't get back naturally to tolerance and homeostasis. So the PERQUE WellGuard program has some resources. It has a comprehensive health assessment questionnaire, the HAQ, for personalized supplement recommendations. The PERQUE WellGuard program has other resources, including first morning urine pH test protocol and handout, and a variety of other self-care tests that can confirm the rightness of your recommendations for each individual in a very personalized way. The PERQUE WellGuard program includes resources of the LRA by ELISAC tests, the results, and the recommendations that come with it. And the PERQUE WellGuard program includes such resources as the Alkaline Way Handbook for instructions and recipes to help alkalinize, to reset the repair systems naturally, more safely, and effectively.